Ken and Mike Show. We are so glad you are tuned in officially. Little stuff going on there, but we are officially live here on Facebook. And if you have not gone to YouTube, and we see we've got some new subscribers, thank you for whoever that was for subscribing to the Ken and Mike Show. If you have not yet subscribed, tell your friend, your loved ones,
your friend. They only have one.
And please do subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate you doing that. And of course, Rumble as well, and all the major podcast platforms. And we're so glad you're here. And again, I said this earlier, I'll say it again because it's worth repeating. What other face would you rather see on a Monday night except for Mike Hansen's?
Oh, gosh.
So here he is right here.
If that's what you look forward to,
too.
we need to have therapy sessions.
That's right. So thank you for coming to our therapy session. As you know, we're always here for special therapy, as we usually give, and we're good for it. Mr. Mike,
yes,
how
sir.
are you?
I am well. How are you, Kenny?
I am seriously living the dream, the American dream.
Did you get any snow down there?
Yes.
Did you?
Oh, sprinkles. We had some snow like earlier, like a couple weeks ago or something like that. But we had that cold front come through, and it got really cold. And I mentioned this. I actually have a special little guest in the studio today. My father's actually here. Mr. Ken Burns Sr. is in studio today, watching the show. And they came down exactly when it was like blistering cold because the Arctic blast came through. 2 below zero it actually got to.
Wow, for you, that's cold down there.
That's cold, yeah. But yesterday and today yesterday I think it was like 50s it got to, and then today's like 40, so it's nice. So we are thankful that we're coming back around.
Yeah, we woke up one morning here we woke up here one morning at negative 15 degrees.
Holy moly.
Yeah. It was cold.
It was that is freezing.
Yeah, it was negative.
I don't like 15. That at all.
So Kenny, what's on the agenda for this evening?
So listen, we first have to talk about we'll get to it in a second. We have to talk about sports. We have to talk about the golden era that we're living in, and just in the few days, well, it's a little more than a few days that Trump's been president, on how he's done more in just the last week than the other guy that was in the office, kind of just hanging around there eating ice cream, was doing for 4 years. So that we have to talk about that. And I'm actually going to go through a little bit of a list of what he's done so far. So we won't take up too much time, but we'll talk about that. But before we even get there, Mr. Mike, I have to humbly just come before you and say I am so sorry. I really believe it was rigged. I cannot believe the Bills lost.
Oh my goodness.
Kansas City, Taylor Swifty, stupid team. I hate it.
That was awful. It was awful. All right, I'm going to say something in defense of it, and I'm going to say something on the conspiracy end of it.
Okay.
In defense,
before you do,
yep.
Mr. Mike, your mic is a little low.
My mic is a little low.
Yes.
Well, let's see if I can adjust my mic for you.
Crank that up. Mic'd up for Mike Hansen.
Does that help at all?
You're up there now.
I'm up there now? All right.
Yes. Yeah. Could be maybe it's my headphones too. So I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit fuzzy.
Little fuzzy?
Yeah. Oh, right there. Keep it.
Wow.
Let me hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. All right.
So
you were saying.
As I was saying. All right. In defense of it, look, you're going to play a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's already the aura about them that if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and they are the best. And all year they've have been winning by one-score games with some questionable calls, we'll say. So just like the election, you have to be too big to rig. And you should probably not put yourself in a situation where you're fighting them and the refs. So I think there were some calls made by the coaching staff that put them in bad situations. However, they still remained in the entire game. I think once the NFL opened themselves up to FanDuel, MGM, Las Vegas, point spreads, and allowing gambling for years, Kenny, I don't know if you know this, but for years it was illegal to bet NFL. NFL did not allow gambling. That's one of the reasons why Las Vegas never was allowed a sports franchise.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And but they amended the rules. They changed the rules. Las Vegas now has the Raiders. And once the NFL had their hand in the proverbial pot of gambling, it behooves them to put the best product out there that they can and influence it in any way that they can. Do I think they're rigging the individual games? No, because you can't rig injuries. You can't rig how the coaches play call. You can't rig personnel. However, for those black and white calls, where there's a little bit of, or not black and white calls, those calls that aren't black and white and there's a little gray, they can tell the refs, and I bet you there is meetings. If it's a little gray, err on the side of whoever your team is that you want to win, and in this case, Kansas City. I will go on the record and I will state that was not a catch that was contested, which gave them the first down. That was an interception at the very best, and at the very least, an incomplete pass because the receiver did not gain control of the ball until after it hit the ground. And if you look at the Bills defender's arms had more control over it than the receiver from Kansas City, Worthy, had until after he hit the ground. And I believe if you slow it down, when the Buffalo player had the ball, he was down prior to the receiver being down. In my opinion, it should go to the defense. But in the best case scenario, I think the refs should have erred on the side of incomplete pass.
Well, hey, I mean, did they? I see. I didn't stay to watch that. So did they challenge that?
No, they didn't challenge it. They erred on the side of Kansas City and gave them the completion down on the 5-yard line, which they went ahead and scored. Secondly, there was a very questionable face mask call that was called on Buffalo. The guy had a screen on his mask. It was clear. He did not grab and twist the head. His hand just grazed across it. So they gave Buffalo a penalty for that. And then the 4th down conversion, which both field judges spotted the ball in 2 different locations. One giving Buffalo Bills the first down. One saying they didn't have the line of gain. But the aerial clearly shows that Josh Allen crossed the line for first down. However, the play prior to that, on the 3rd down, you can clearly see the tight end got the first down and the referee moved the ball back. So gotcha. I have a lot of problems with the game. Obviously, I'm biased because I am a Bills fan, so I see it through a slightly different lens, and I will own that. But I think what you're seeing now, I don't know if you're paying attention to social media at all, but I think if you're seeing now, a lot of people who aren't even Bills fans are commenting and throwing their hands up and said, enough is enough. It's not so much that we're tired of seeing Kansas City. The NFL needs to do something about the officiating, making it more fair, because we are obviously seeing, and not cherry picking data, obviously seeing that they're favoring calls one way or the other. At least that's the perception of it.
Right.
And it needs to change in order for them to continue going on. Because now, if you look at statistically, the viewership on the NFL this season is down. Because I believe people are just getting tired of it. It's more like the WWE, where it's an entertainment and it's really not an actual product of competition.
Oh, like the WNBA.
Right.
Which we'll go into that, but essentially, I do what you're saying. Now, Kayla says glad the Eagles won, so I am too. I was always, of course, we have some peeps that are Eagles fans, and because of that, I'm happy for that part. But I was really hoping to see the Eagles and the Bills. Honestly, I wanted to see the Lions. If I'm going to be honest,
if I'm being honest with you, I wanted to see a Lions Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. That's what I wanted to see when it all started.
That's what I wanted.
And I think America wanted that.
They did.
Now for your in-laws there, or not your in-laws, your brother-in-law there, for his sake, I'm glad the Eagles are in it. And any other time, I would root against them because I cannot stand their fan base.
No, they need to beat KC this time.
But now I am fully on the Eagles train. And this is so wrong to say, but I'm really hoping that, Kermit the Frog there eats a lot of dirt. It was so ugly yesterday, and it was so awful. And I think with Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills, he is a generational talent. I don't think we've seen anybody do it the way he's doing it, and I really feel bad for him because he's not getting a team built around him that helps him succeed. And I think the Buffalo Bills are wasting a quarterback that like we're never going to see before, and especially with the likes of Mahomes. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Mahomes. Mahomes is a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. I think he's become a crybaby over the couple of years here. And has a bit of an attitude.
He's been hanging out with Taylor and Travis.
Well, I wonder how that locker room conversation is, or how they are privately amongst each other. Because Taylor and Kelsey, Captain Pfizer there, and they completely lean one way, and
they sure do.
And Mahomes
and his wife
are professed to be Trump supporters. So I wonder how that dynamic works out.
You didn't see Taylor and Mahomes' girlfriend or wife. Together much after that.
No. I was really disgusted. I'm heartbroken being a Bills fan. However, like we always say, Buffalo's been saying it for years. There's always next year. I'm just hoping that we're not going to waste this talent who is Josh Allen, because I don't think there's anybody more deserving in the NFL for the work and putting the team on his back than he has. And I think he really deserves a legitimate shot at it that's not being influenced by outside forces.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, no, I agreed. End of story. Not much more to say. I honestly, like we both stated, I wanted Lions and Bills. Really bad, actually. That would have been a great game. Two slightly kind of underdogs, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
Not Bills as much as the Lions, I would say, but
the Lions had a phenomenal season, and I was rooting for them. Not when they played Buffalo, but I was rooting for them only because of the story of their quarterback, Jared Goff, used to be with the LA Rams, and they booted him because they didn't think he was good enough to continue on to get them to a Super Bowl. So they traded him for Matthew Stafford, who used to quarterback the Detroit Lions. So essentially they swapped quarterbacks. Now, Stafford, who is on the decline, is still competitive. They still made the playoffs, but Goff now all of a sudden is this juggernaut who has years ahead of him, who I think still is going to give them more shots at a championship than what they traded for. So I think the Rams put the cart before the horse on that one. Even though the year they traded for him, they did win a Super Bowl. But if Goff goes on to win more than one with the Lions, or continues to have the success he's having, it may prove that the Rams made the wrong choice.
Yeah. Well, just interesting when you compare social media to the way the game has changed and not just in the NFL and NBA, etc. I love watching the reels with we talked about this with LeBron James, when somebody like touches him on the head and he's like falling over.
Oh my gosh, she's such a girl.
There's this one I just saw today. I actually almost played it for us today on the Kid and Mike show, where he's on the bench and a fan came over and like touched his leg. He's like, "Hey LeBron, how you doing?" He rolled his eyes. He was so mad that somebody came over and said hi to him. But one of the comments was, I'm surprised he didn't fall down in pain after getting
That would have been awesome.
Oh, it would have been great.
Hey, Kenny, I'm going to do something live on the air here, and I know it's not professional, but I'm really loud in my own ears. I'm going to turn down this knob. Tell me if it adjusts the output going to you as well. How's that?
Perfect.
Still the same?
No, it's better.
Is it?
As far as loudness goes?
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was tired of hearing myself there.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and so and it's just things like that they've changed tremendously to the point where you do have to question things all the time. Is this rigged? Is it not? Is it about money? Is it really? Are these players actually playing the game for real? You really do get like that.
Just like with politics and anything else, it all comes down to money. Follow the money. And I really believe they're trying to set Kansas City up to be like the next New England Patriots.
Oh, great.
And I do,
And Mahomes is never going to retire.
oh my gosh, I feel bad for Josh Allen, and I just think they got to do something different out there in Buffalo. But yet, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, so I'm looking at it through different glasses than everybody else.
Yeah. Well, hey, you're faithful to your team. That's right. And by the way, so Super Bowl is going to be in just a couple weeks, right?
Couple weeks,
Yeah.
and
So
we're gonna have the 16th annual party in my location.
Yeah. That was our thing every year, and you're going to be making your spicy wings.
Yes, sir.
Sheesh. Well, actually, so my neighbor, he's going to be making smoked wings. He's got a smoker outside, so
What kind of smoke are we talking?
I don't know what that.
Are you doing the illegal stuff down there, Kenny?
No, not that kind of smoke.
All right. Well, anyway, so we got through the sports. We did the sports. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Don't forget, tonight I still have the Kenny Reacts segment, which is actually going to be equal for both of us because I just quickly put some stuff together before the show. Didn't have a lot of time. So even I might be just kind of seeing these for the first time. I just quickly threw them in a folder and said, hey, let's see what happens. And so they weren't vetted very well. So maybe I apologize ahead of time.
Oh, boy. What am I getting into?
And we also have the trivia section for Kenny tonight. We're going to put him on the spot. It's kind of easy tonight. So we're hoping we're going to have people stick around and stay tuned tonight to play against you. Kenny did win last week, but was it by default or did you win?
I won.
Yeah, there was nobody
We
else.
had millions of viewers last week, Mike, and I beat them all.
Oh, wow. All right. Well,
So it could have been me waking up from a dream thinking that, but no, it was real.
I do have some things to ask you in regards to politics, but I don't know what you have to cover tonight. So we can bounce it back and
video
forth.
just because it excites me.
It excites. What kind of Kenny? This is a family-friendly show.
It excites me in a spiritual.
This is a family-friendly show,
way,
Kenny.
Mike, watch your mouth.
Go ahead.
Now, so this, of course, you've probably seen this floating around. It's just this is the kind. Okay, I will just say this. Let me premise it with this before I even do this. Yes, I am on the Trump train. I'm definitely more of a Trump lover than Mike is, but only because look at 4 years of literally, and I'm not using this as a swear word of hell, and now we literally you see what we came from, what we have now, and we need somebody who has nothing to lose in the White House, and he certainly doesn't. And I love that he's just going in there and just like, I don't really care. This is exactly what we're doing. This is what I said I was going to do. And this is what we're going to do.
Wait, before you start that, and I think that people need to remember that before they start complaining and crying. Because I was having a conversation with somebody about some of the things that they saw Trump do, and they're flipping out about it. And is this acceptable? Well, we got to remember that. This is what America voted for. We knew right from the get-go what he said he was going to do, and he's following through on it. So, yeah, complain all you want, but this is what we voted for, and it's not a surprise to those who are on the Trump train.
Yep, listen. There's other countries that you can go to if you don't like it here. If you don't want to fly the American flag, I'm going to say this every show, I think, because we've said it every show so far. If you don't want to fly the American flag, then go somewhere else because we're going to be proud of the flag that we put up on our whatever you call it poles. Anyway, so here you go. Here's our video. Again, I just I love it. This is the kind of attitude that I'm thinking about right here that we love.
Oil prices will come down, and when oil prices come down, everything's going to be cheaper for the American people and actually for the world, but for the American people. So I'd like to see oil prices come down. And when the energy comes down, that's going to knock out a lot of the inflation. That's going to automatically bring the interest rates down.
You said that you would demand that the interest rates come down.
Well, I would put in a strong statement.
Do you expect the Fed to listen to you?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk to Powell?
Tell me that's not amazing.
Yeah, I love it. And you know what? There was a time where I wouldn't be so happy about this, but I think since we've digressed so much, a little bit of this is the way we're going to do it, and you're going to deal with it, and because we fell so far behind.
Yes.
So now it's to the point where, you might not like the bulldozer effect that Trump is, and you may even question if he has the authority to do it. Well, there are cases for that, and I agree with that. But he's going to do it. He's going to push it through and let them litigate it after the fact. And if he has to eat some crow, he has to eat some crow.
Exactly. And I have a list I'm going to go through a little bit too, just to kind of give you, it's basically the first 100 hours historic action to kick off America's golden age. We'll talk about that in just a second.
Right, because he has a strong. I think he lost the case about the birthright citizenship thing.
Did he really?
Yeah.
14th Amendment?
But yeah, because we can get into that too as we go on. But because for years, whether or not that's the constitutionally verifiable that the birthright is allowed, but that's the way we've kind of interpreted it for years.
It is.
Um,
I don't think it's the way that it's supposed to be.
it's not the way it's written, but however, that is the way we've loosely interpreted it for decades.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the way that we've made precedent by doing that, there is legal standing, though, although that may not be the letter of the law the way it's written. We can't undo decades, if not 60, 70 years of precedence of how we've interpreted it.
Right.
I don't agree with it, Kenny. I will admit, I don't agree with it the way that it's interpreted, but I do agree with precedent. So it needs to be clarified, and maybe somebody needs to, constitutionally challenge it and say, no, this is the way the law is. But as far as my understanding, the Supreme Court has overruled in terms of saying, listen, that is the way we interpret it for the past 60 years. We can't kind of fight back on it. Although I do agree that the way it's written in the amendment is that if you do not fall under the jurisdiction thereof, then you don't have birthright citizenship. And I think that's where the caveat is too. You can give birth to whoever you want here, but if your parents are illegal, they're not under the jurisdiction of American legal system. So you and your children need to go. I agree with that, but that's not the way we've interpreted it
And I get
it
that,
for
but it's
decades.
preposterous. Think about it. I go to Europe, if I go to Italy, if I go to France, and I just happen to, not me, I don't
Right.
pop out a baby, but my wife pops out a baby in those places. I'm still an American citizen. And that's the issue. That's why I want to, and I get it, what you're saying. There does need to be, it can be challenged. It needs to be worked out. You can't just
Yep.
all of a sudden be like, this is how we're going to do it starting today.
But we also can't interpret American law to how we know other countries would deal with it.
True.
Because we
True.
can't go over and say, well, look, if I went to Italy and I dropped a kid off there and had a kid there, that makes my
We
kid
allow
and me a
so
citizen.
much- so
That's not
many
what the laws
things
say, though.
here. I know, but we allow so many things here that are just ridiculous. It would never fly anywhere else. Like we wouldn't go. Like we do have laws about, for example, Homan right now. Then you can.
He's my hero right now.
Well, he's out there on the front lines, like the CBN and all the ABC channels are the alphabet channels are all asking him like, so when are you going to get to work on this? He's like, it's already started. Like we have,
Yeah.
I mean, go look at all the videos. of
I like
people
he's taking
crying.
Dr. Phil around for ride-alongs.
Probably.
No, he is. He is.
he is?
Yeah, Dr. Phil's going for ride-alongs, and he's there watching how this is being done.
Good.
It's kind of funny.
They're not doing anything wrong. Look at these are they're going after the criminals.
Yes.
People who are here legally and
Yeah, and the people that are whining and crying and everything, oh my gosh, the families, the kids. Listen, stop with the tears. You're telling me you want the criminals here? All right, now there will come a time where they're gonna shift focus. But right now they're going after the criminals. They're going after the illegals. The illegals that are committing illegal acts and not just the act of being here illegally.
right. And they committed crimes that they had never paid for. So,
Right.
I mean, there's rapists, there's murders. That's the people and the people who are bringing in fentanyl. There was just what is it called? M6, M9 or M60? What is the gang?
MS.
Yes,
Yeah, that one.
one.
Yep.
From a guy from Guatemala. They
Yep.
got him out of here. Why wouldn't you want
Yep.
him here? Like what?
And I like what he did with Colombia. You saw that, right?
Yes.
I love what he did with that. Now, I heard an argument, and I'm just going to steal the argument because I forgot where I heard it from. So copyright somebody. I forgot what it is, but I'm going to steal it anyway. They made an argument. He could have done that diplomatically, privately, had that discussion with Colombia. But the fact that he made them an example publicly is amazing because, yes, you could have handled it diplomatically, but then he would have had to deal with all the other countries in that area because he dealt with Colombia, but then you have Guatemala, and then you have Chile and all the other southern. They could all try and push their chests out and say we're not going to do that. But it was funny, within an hour of Trump deporting them and them saying they're not going to receive him, he says I'm going to challenge you with tariffs, and he said did that all publicly. And I think by him doing it publicly, it saved him a lot of heartache and having to deal with challenges from the surrounding countries, because now they've all seen how he's going to handle it, as opposed to, diplomatically doing it privately. So they know he got it out of the way, so he didn't have to deal with all that BS afterwards and down the
100%.
road.
Absolutely, 100%.
And look, I stole that from Charlie Kirk. He made that argument.
Oh yeah, and well, he's good like that. But here's the thing. So here's what's nice about a couple of different things going on. JD Vance is out there still talking, and they're trying to come down on him about certain things. I'll tell you in a second. And also, of course, the whole thing with Elon trying to say that he was not doing a heart thing. These people are literally.
I have an argument for that Elon Musk thing, and I think
against or
no, if anybody had any intelligence beside other than the emotion of wanting to say Orange Man bad, they did something wrong.
Well, they know.
Listen, Elon Musk is, and this came right from the horse's mouth because I heard him say it. Elon Musk is diagnosed Asperger's. Okay,
he's brilliant.
He has Asperger's, which is on the spectrum, the autism spectrum.
Right.
He is not going to do things that you and I would say as normal. He's going to have tics or stems that they call them and do things that are weird. When you saw Trump talk about during the inauguration of exploring Mars, he acted like a kid in a candy store. Exactly. I mean, listen, any civilized, off the spectrum, normal person, if you want to use normal, forgive me, I don't mean it that way, but wouldn't behave that way.
Right.
But since he's a person that is like that, has Asperger's, he's going to do that weird chest thing that you're going to say he's saluting Hitler, and he's going to act like a kid in a candy store when you tell him he's exploring Mars. Wait till you tell him the Santa Fe train track is coming through. He's going to be like, ooh, choo-choos. That's just the way he's going to be. And we got to look at it through that mindset, because he's also a genius. Okay, so
you know that CNN and MSNBC and all the other buddies of theirs are all going to keep doing this because this is how it's going to go. They got to find something though.
Yeah.
To do it with their time right now, because there's nothing.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the newest thing, and I don't know if this is true, but somebody had an argument with me via text message today, and I didn't really want to get in the argument because I don't know anything about it. But they said, "Did you see Trump did this?" And did you hear anything about? I know Trump wiped the DEI stuff off the White House website.
Yes.
But apparently, according to this person, and I don't know if this is true because I haven't looked it up, and I asked them to verify it, and they said, "Oh, it's true." According to them, also on the White House page, they wiped off the DEI stuff. Along with that, you can't find the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, Abraham Lincoln's profile, blah, 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 all this stuff. And my answer to that is, who says it has to be there to begin with? It's a White House website. You can still go to the Library of Congress and find these things. It's not like he deleted history. He can he can use Google and find this stuff, but because it's not on the website, the White House website, we're going to throw our hands up in the air and say he's not constitutional. And they yelled at me and they said, "Well, you can't tell me you support a constitutional government if you allow that to happen." Nowhere in the Constitution says you have to have a website that says it needs to be broadcast on the White House. Now, if you know anything about
me, the internet precedes everything.
Yeah, I know.
Things like that.
But also, if you know anything about IT work and website builds, I mean, I don't know in particular, so I can't speak as an expert, but when you write script for a website or when you make a website, sometimes if you break a chain and if you're just removing the DEI stuff, you probably could have got rid of a whole bunch of pages at the same time and just haven't reconstructed it yet.
Exactly.
So
exactly. You know how it is when you're updating a website.
Yeah, and I don't like the feigning outrage.
Doing it though.
It's come on. Can we be genuine?
Well, because it starts with those little discussions like your text message. They know that little things right there that trigger something to get off track.
Yep.
But speaking of DEI, though, so he literally officially they're on a leave of absence, all of them. And you see companies that have been afraid of DEI stuff because of the diversity, equity, inclusion. For those who don't know, I'm sure you do know it, but if you don't, diversity, equity, inclusion is one of the biggest ridiculous things that they've ever put in place. Biden regime put in place, basically to bring on, whether it's based on race, gender, sex and orientation, all those types of things, instead of merit. And that's why we're bringing back a meritocracy. So it is merit based, which it should be. We want people who are competent not look the part, but are competent to do that part. And I think what's great about doing this too is that other businesses are now coming out and saying, my gosh, I'm so glad that he did this because now I don't have to pretend anymore that I actually liked it because we didn't. So, but that also tells you a little bit too, like, so you were that afraid, that much fear mongering coming from the left that you had to shut down and just do what they said. That's kind of sad that businesses had to do that.
Oh, I really get sick of the feigning outrage because all his executive orders and all these things that he's pushing through, he's acting like a dictator. No, he's just doing what he said he was going to do. He's not going to circumvent the rule of law and bypass Congress in enacting legislation. He's just doing what he said he was going to do, and he's also rolling back what the prior administration did with executive orders. So, I just want
the
you
Biden family literally let all of their little buddies in their inner circle group all be pardoned. So I don't think anything he's doing is
no, I agree, and I think my problem is the feigning of the outrage because. Listen, match energy is all I'm asking for you. If you actually think you are that even keeled of a person looking at things not through a biased lens that you're able to, navigate both the Republican and Democrat, don't show your bias. Give me the same energy on both. When Trump does stuff that's messed up, jump up and down, yell and scream. But I never once saw that energy from that side when Biden was freaking pardoning everybody and circumventing the Constitution and shutting everybody up with freedom of speech.
For example, pro-lifers who Trump just pardoned. Yeah. That was freedom of speech. But yet Antifa, Black Lives Matter groups who were burning down cities, literally people lost their businesses because they didn't have any insurance after that either. None of them got prosecuted.
Right.
So how is that even? It makes sense on the left side. It doesn't make sense.
Listen, I try and champion myself as being able to I like to be able to understand where the left is coming from. I don't agree with the left. I don't agree with the left 90% of the time. But I do make it an effort to understand why they come from the perspective that they come from. So I can say, hey, I know why you're coming that way, and I can have understanding and compassion for you. As wrong as it may be, but I don't see that same energy from them. They want to just vilify everything the right does as opposed to trying to come at it from a point of understanding. Listen, we've come so far and we've wiped away so much. We're just trying to get some of the footing back.
100%. Think of it. We were just talking about, I was talking to my family just, I think it was yesterday, the day before, talking about the 80s and the 90s and how much I love and reminisce about those eras, because not that it was perfect.
Right.
But it was different times where we had an understanding that really made America strong. I mean, look at throughout history and even some of the wars we got ourselves into because people needed our help. We were able to do that because we had strength and in unity. If we don't have that,
it's not wrong to say America is exceptional.
Exactly. It's not wrong at all. Other countries want to be that way. Like Germany, I think they're incredible engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Different things like that. I give them credit for that. So here in America,
I mean, I wouldn't buy a Volkswagen now, but
no, me neither. Me neither. What was a Saab from? Saab was that Swedish?
Saab was Swedish, which
they were great cars.
They were until GM bought them and then became American.
Exactly. But that's the thing. So by the way, you talk about like things that Trump are doing might not be great. One thing that people are cautioning on slowing down is, for example, we want inflation to come down, but it can't happen so fast. So that's one thing that
everybody. I'm loving all the memes and all the TikToks, and I'm saying, "Oh, you said he was going to do this. How come my lettuce is still expensive? How come gas prices doesn't come down?" It's like, dude, it's not like you can literally flip a switch. But look at all that he has done. He's brought Putin to the table already. He's already got Lewinsky. I just said Lewinsky, and I almost said he's always got Lewinsky's on his knees, but. Zelensky.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe that came out. But anyway, but literally, he's literally got the Ukraine and Russia finally bowing, and people, other countries are taking notice. And he is, and I know I'm not 100%. I don't know much about tariffs and how they work, but the fact that he was able to use tariffs to convince Colombia to back down, let him do that with everybody across the board. He thinks it's such a bargaining chip. Do it. I'm just waiting to see how it works with Canada.
Me too. But here's what's great about tariffs. Again, at one time we got most of that those tariffs were a huge supply for our, in this case would be for our debt. There's no way you and I and the rest of us could pay down the trillions of dollars that we have, but through tariffs, we could chunk at that thing because other countries are paying for that. It's super smart. But you mentioned grocery prices. Here's what's so great. How many days has he been in office so far?
It was a week today, right?
Right. So we've had high inflation for the last 4 years.
Right.
He comes into the office and you have, for example, CBS, and you took the words and actually the article right out of my mouth here. And I don't have this displaying right now, but the CBS host Margaret Brennan challenged JD Vance about this. Probably you're referring to this too. He goes, "You campaigned on lowering prices." This is what she says. "You campaigned on lowering prices for consumers." And so she's going on. So which one, like basically, we've seen all these executive orders. Which one lowers the prices? Well, first of all, we have done a lot. This is Vance, and there have been a number of executive orders that have caused already. This we have to do it slowly. Jobs to start coming back into our country, which is a core part of lowering prices. See, but she doesn't. She keeps going on about it. But the groceries aren't coming down. Why aren't we seeing it yet?
You can't write an executive order to say, "Hey, I want lettuce now costs 99 cents a pound as opposed to $4.99."
Well, in your area, hey, Price Chopper, listen, put your prices down. So
yeah, you can't just do that. I mean, the actions that lead. There's a whole infrastructure. There's a whole assembly line of how things have to work in order for that to happen, and that's what they're doing now. They think we're going to do it overnight.
That's just it. Well, here's
and if we don't, we're the enemy.
Oh, 100%. Again, it's just one way that they can start to push at us. Like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing any promises. I know it's only been a week, but that you're not doing anything.
Yep.
Speaking of what they're doing, so here's a quick thing. I'm not going to do all of it, but I'll do some of it. So, the first 100 hours, historic action to kick off America's golden age, as it truly is. And I believe I'm walking on golden streets right now in my mind. So we're witnessing the Trump effect. Here you go.
It's golden streets.
Yes. President Trump is securing historic investments just days before being sworn in. So listen to this. The president has already secured, now it might not sound like a lot compared to the debt, but it's a lot of money for you and I, secured over $1 trillion in historic new investments. That's a great thing.
Yep.
Come on. Okay. President Trump secured $500 billion in private sector investment for the largest AI infrastructure. So there's one thing, we don't have to get into the AI stuff, but Saudi Arabia wants to invest $600 billion into the United States over the next 4 years.
That's a win.
Yeah. Stellantis announced it will restart an assembly plant in Illinois and build for the new Dodge Durango in Detroit.
That's good for business, but I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy anything from Stellantis if you paid me.
The Detroit Free Press, the news announced in let's see, I won't go into that. Let's keep going here. President Trump is already securing the border, and we already know that. We talked about that, which is awesome. The Border Patrol is reporting a significant drop already in attempted illegal crossings. Of course,
like how people are self-deporting themselves now.
They probably are. Mom, I want to come home. Let's see here. Yeah, the U.S. southern border has seen a sharp drop in illegal immigrants. ICE is at work rounding up criminal aliens. We already know that. Hallelujah. Let's see. We'll get by here. Breitbart News says President Donald Trump's administration arrested 538 illegal aliens on Thursday.
They're probably in the backyard.
They probably were. I love those videos. I'm going to pause for a second. I love those videos that you see, the reels where they stop at random guy's house that has like a Biden Harris shirt on. Like, hey, I got a couple of guys here. You said you're for Biden, the borders, and yeah, I should think they should be wide open. Well, I've got Jose and Hernandez over here, and they need a place to stay tonight. They're like, well, they can't stay here.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Concept. The Trump administration immediately shut down the CBP One app.
What is that?
That was the app for illegal immigrants to be able to kind of like
navigate and ways to help home. Yeah.
Yep.
Ways to help navigate them and facilitate them coming into the country. That's right. Yep.
It paroled over 1 million illegal immigrants.
Paroled?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's what they say. Deportation flights have already started. The Department of Homeland Security reinstated the official use of the term illegal alien. Because they were always saying, what was the word?
Undocumented.
Undocumented.
That's just that's a play on words that the left came up with.
Exactly. But DeSantis in Florida said it perfectly. He's like, saying undocumented. Like, what are you describing?
Yeah, I saw that. Undocumented is like me driving down the street. You pull me over, and I don't have my license and insurance card on me.
But I still have my license.
Yeah, I'm still legal. I just don't have it on me. These guys undocumented, they don't have their papers because they don't have papers.
Exactly. You don't have any papers.
Right.
Common sense. Okay, I love this one. Ready? Here we go. Thank goodness for this. This is a very simple one, but it was very uncommon the last 4 years. Common sense has been restored to the government.
Well, who's common sense?
It's coming. Is Nancy Pelosi still hanging around?
No. Common sense or no sense?
You know she's there. All right. President Trump signed a series of executive orders ensuring the elimination of DEI practices. Already talked about that.
And what is wrong with that?
Nothing. DEI?
Yeah. What is wrong with doing away with it?
Oh, well, nothing's wrong with it. It takes the narrative away from what the left was doing. There's the little thing that they were doing of
because I got a discussion with somebody about that as well, and if we get rid of DEI, that's going to put an emphasis on unfair practices amongst other genders and things like that. But I was like, whatever.
I have watched some crazy, awesome interviews with strong women. I say that purposefully. Strong women who
How dare you assume their gender, Kenny?
Yeah. Well, they are emotionally mature women. That's a good way to put it. Emotionally mature women who are able to say, and they've spoken to other young ladies around that table, saying, so you're going to tell me when you look at the facts of all the things that the women fought for they got to vote, they got to get their equal pay, jobs, whatever, but they still apply, and majority still has the same jobs they held when they had jobs way back then, secretaries, different things in that same sphere. And they're not laying. I mean, there are some out there that absolutely can do the things that like you and I would like go do, like hard labor and things. I'm not saying that, but majority speak that they're not out there laying brick. They're not out there working with the oil rigs. They're not doing any of those things. They're not running cranes. Right. They're not iron workers. Majority. Now, I'm not saying there's not few. There's some here and there, but that's the way it is. And that's the same people that are talking. They're saying it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Okay. Go lay some brick. Okay, go start building houses. Okay, go start doing the labor.
Well, I like something I shared with somebody today. Men, and I don't mean to get on this men versus women thing, but
it's not really versus. It's just kind of laying down roles.
Men work in more dangerous jobs by average.
Yes.
Okay. Men take more
percentage, by the way,
more jobs that rely on physicality. So the cherry-picked data where, women aren't treated as fairly as men are in the workforce, and that's why we need DEI for not just women, but for every other, other alphabet soup thing you want to put in there. I think instead of cherry-picking data, we need to be fair about it. Now, I don't know if, let's take a field that both men and women are equally represented. I would like to see that washed out. Let's take, general practitioners. I would love to see what the data is between the equality between male physicians and women physicians that both do the same job. If you can give me that data, maybe you have an argument. But when you take the data as a whole, men work. I saw Jordan Peterson said this. Let's just take Uber, for example.
Yes.
He said men earn 7% more as Uber drivers than a female Uber driver. Is it because of their sex? No, because idiot men drive faster. And they get their people to their destination quicker. Is it safe and logical? Probably not. But these are things that aren't accounted for when people start screaming the gender gap thing.
Right.
They're not. They're looking at the data point that goes with their biases, but they're not looking at the full work, saying, well, why are men earning 7% more? Because they're getting there 7% faster into their destination than women are. And women generally are more cautious. Men are generally more aggressive. So in the workforce, I'm not saying women can't achieve higher levels of executives and achievement in the workforce, but naturally men are more aggressive and they will flush these things out and spearhead things more bullheaded like, and not worry about the repercussions. Women will often be a little bit more softer about it, and they are worried about people's feelings, and they don't achieve those levels. I'm not saying that's true with all women. Please hear me on that. I'm just saying that people need to look at the total body of work before they start arbitrarily spouting off of the mouth. There's this huge gender gap between men and women. No, it's just there's advantages and disadvantages depending on what field you go into and what sex you are.
Yeah, exactly. And most women don't want to do certain things, and they make their own choices. They can do whatever they want, but this is what they choose to do. So,
and I use this as an example too, and I said this exact analogy to someone today. It's kind of funny we're talking about this now. Let's take a 20-year-old male welder, if you will, and a 20-year-old female welder, if you will, okay? And they both come into a job at 20 years old making $20 an hour, okay? But in, say, 25 years, if everything traditionally works out the way it's supposed to, the male will have more experience because that woman probably would have stepped away at some point to have children, raise a family, get out of the workforce. All meanwhile, that man is still getting his tenure and time in at the job, getting raises, bumping up, progressing in his field. And the woman comes back after raising the children when she is now 45 years old, and she doesn't have that 25 years of experience. She has 15 because of the time she took off. Now, well, she's been, she's the same age as him, and she's still a welder. Why isn't she getting paid the same? Well, because life doesn't dictate that because of who she is biologically that decided to take time off and give birth to children. It's not a penalty. It's just the nature of what the game is.
Exactly. And that you see that, and that begs the question. So some women, like you just said, they start off having kids, and then later on in life, now they want to get in the workforce.
Right.
So they get a college degree and they go through it later on in life. But also sometimes, like you just said, they start with work. Then they say, I want to have kids and have a family. So,
and I'm not demonizing that.
Right. But years go, like time does go by. Technology changes. So you have to be, you got to kind of be critiqued in your level of thinking. All that kind of stuff has to change a little bit.
Right.
You do have to get educated because things are changing so much. Unless you want to do hard labor. And do contracting, even that's changing. But that's the difference in that but they see when they're having these conversations in front of the public or in their eyes on the networks, they don't talk about that stuff. They just say those words. Like you said, there's a gender gap. There's this type of gap. There's racism. There's this. It's all just a ploy to put stuff out there, and they have no facts to
right. Now, let's be honest.
Their feet.
Was there a sexism element, institutionalized sexism 60, 70 years ago? Maybe. Maybe 80 years ago at this point. But I think you can't. What I'm tired of is everybody needs to be a victim now. And I don't think those things that we held on so much to back then are as prevalent today. I don't believe there's institutional racism anymore. Is there racism? Yes. There's racism. Obviously, for individual case-by-case basis, people are still racist. People are still jerks. You can't just legislate idiots away. Okay, but there is still racism. Institutionalized? No. Was there? Yes. Was there institutionalized sexism? Now? No. Was there? Yes. Are there still pigs in the workforce that are men that will rub up against on women and try and treat them poorly and do stuff? Yes. There's jerks in every facet of life. Just as there are women who get pulled over, who lower their blouse, let certain things be seen by the officer, and they use that to their advantage. So let's call a spade a spade.
Exactly. Are you talking from experience, or are you just saying in general?
Oh, what, when I lower my blouse to get out of tickets? No.
So you've got out of a couple tickets. I think.
Yes, I hiked up my skirt and showed them my goods.
I don't think I've ever.
Okay. Anyway, so what else you got for me there?
So I love what you said. A couple quick things too. Electric vehicle mandate is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. That was stupid. JFK files are opening. I think it's great. Of course, there's some people on higher levels that think it's not a good thing because
I'll see how that flushes out.
What's that?
I really want to see how that flushes out, and I'm really hoping that they're going to release them, but they need to be released in a timely fashion. Blah blah blah. I get it. Now I hear the rumors around them now are coming out.
Oh yeah.
But I just really want to see if that did LBJ really order the hit on Kennedy?
So I heard actually Dan Bongino said this. He goes, I don't know. He's like, I could be wrong. He's like, but I think it's not so much of what they did as of what they knew and allowed to happen. We don't know. That's the whole point, but we want to know. And so one guy, who was it that was, I can't think of his name now. He was a high ranking official at one time, idiot. But he was trying to say that years ago now, or maybe it wasn't that long ago, that it would be not good to release these files because it's 60 years ago, but when you open a file, it actually becomes today. And so it's the way he was wording it, it's almost like there's some things in there that's almost going to expose some other people.
You know what? I think there is something to be said. There are things probably in there that will make people vulnerable, parts of the government vulnerable, even America vulnerable, if you will. But I think the ends justifies the means. In this, I say, because we need to have the U.S. government tipped on its heels. We really need to flip it upside down and expose everything, regardless of what the ramifications are, because we need to come to a point in America where we can trust America again, and at least our government. And if we are transparent, we got to be willing to take the bumps and the bruises that comes with being honest. Mm-hmm. And let's open it all up, even if that does expose higher ranking levels of people that did things they shouldn't have done. And, people are going to have to rebuild trust again. But that's just the ramifications of doing dirty business.
Exactly. I think it's a good thing. Like you can't erase the past. You just can't do it. But at least we can learn from it. That's what we've always said here in America. Why don't we just continue to do that all the time? By the way, I did put the website.
I just saw that.
Into there. So if anybody wants to take a look at it, there's all the information there. I'm sure it'll be updated.
I'm hoping the information that we're hearing, and I don't want to allude to that because I don't want to tell the details only because could put the Ken and Mike show in bad light and stuff like that. Because I don't want to say anything too negative. But I'm hoping that we're finding out or what's flushing out about MLK is not true.
Yes, we should talk about that sometime because that's another deep conversation that
and
they're opening enough files. Too.
If the files that they're saying, and if what I read, and I don't know if what I read is true. I mean, it looked like a legitimate document from the era and from the time, and had some opinions in it. I mean, it almost looked like a Diddy party going on
with him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, he's been known to be that.
Right. And like I said, I don't want to speak on that because I really don't, there's people that hold him in very high regard and very much should in regards to his contribution to civil rights. However, if some of that backdoor stuff that was wrong term to use, if that stuff going on was really what's going on, there's any truth to that, dude. Wow.
To which part you talking about? I don't know. I'm lost.
what he may have been involved in.
I know. No, it's true. Well, here's what's sad, man. So I don't want to take any credit away from him at all. Look at.
Yeah, and that's why I'm being very careful how I say that, because there's people that I know that I'm friends with.
About how sad it is, though, that we have to be so tiptoey around that. Mm-hmm. Yet Pete Hegseth sitting there being grilled.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean. The hypocrisy is disgusting. And that's what I'm getting sick of. Let's just call it like it is. If somebody did something stupid, that is what it is. So if it's true what you're saying of what the document shows,
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and say like I didn't like his cause, but I'm going to say, oh gosh, that's not good.
Yeah, but then it also shows, and I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to get some backlash from it. But if what he's saying is true, is he really worthy of a national holiday?
Honestly, that was in my mind, and that's exactly what I was thinking when I.
But if I say something like that, it's coming from a white man. It sounds racist, and that's not my term. That's not what I mean.
But a common sense individual is not going to think that about you. That's the bottom line.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that at all. So
because some of the things that are coming out that, and then to find out there's other thing that might be in there. What I heard, and this is speculation. I don't know this to be fact, that he wasn't actually killed.
Oh gosh!
And that he was suffocated in the hospital.
Oh my gosh! Really?
Yeah.
Some interesting theories out there. Well, I guess we'll have to see what comes out.
So I really want to see how that flushes out. I don't, like I said, what I just said there, I don't know as fact, so I don't want to get us into any trouble.
We could go on and on about the JFK stuff too. There's like weird alterings of videos and stuff too that are interesting about the driver, all this stuff. So we'll have to get into that, some conspiracy talk at a later time. But before we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to first say in the chat there, we have the whitehouse.gov, the first 100 hours of the president. Check that out. Also, go to YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell. What's that? And every podcast platform we're on, please go to Apple.
And stay tuned, because when we come back, we are going to have the Kenny Reacts segment of the show, where we really want you to stick around to see how Kenny reacts to some things I'm going to show him. And we're also going to have the trivia where you at home can participate in and see if you can beat Kenny in some common sense trivia.
And I won last week, and I have
so stay tuned. Please do not go anywhere.
And we'll be right back.
Trump is in the White House. That means Ken and Mike are out of the outhouse and back in the studio for the Ken and Mike Show. So if you want real, honest talk with a dose of entertainment, no need to look any further. Ken and Mike have you covered. Ken and Mike are returning with an all-new show, but with the same potent and highly absorbable nutritional ingredients: truth, sarcasm, wit, and humor. New episode drops every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, starting November 21st on all major platforms. So tune in and join the conversation with Ken and Mike on The Ken and Mike Show. The Ken and Mike Show is not FDA approved and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your doctor and/or therapist before listening, as it may cause major side effects triggered by truth.
Guess what?
No, we're back.
We're back. Because this is live.
This is live. We edit this out later.
That's right. We are so glad that you are tuned in. Again, go to YouTube, go to Rumble, which, by the way, I have a couple of videos I have to put on there. I kind of slacked on that. On
Rumble?
But YouTube is all set. Go to YouTube, like it, subscribe, share it with your friends. And again, like I always say, even those who you just despise, share it with them too. I guess they'll get a kick out of this as well. And Mike's demeanor. So that's what
is wrong with my demeanor?
So, I love it. So listen, so I guess we're getting into another Kenny Reacts segment, and I'm excited to see what Mike has to show me. I think.
You think? All right, we're going to do the Kenny Reacts segment of the show. Okay. So we're on the show Kenny a series of photos that have never been seen before. Okay. And Kenny.
By me.
By you. We are going to go with photo. Now, mind you, all these things have a story, so there's originally a reason why some of these things are created. But I just want to see how Kenny reacts. The book is Kids Are Weird, but why would you put the author's name there?
I have to see if I can turn this computer around just a little bit. So I have, like I said, I have a guest in the studio tonight. Hold on 1 second here. Can you see that? Can you see that? So that's the author, right? But it says kids are weird. Kids are weird. So that's the series, right? But brown kids are weird.
Why would you do that? Someone's editor didn't do a good job. Moving on. This is an elevator.
What?
Exactly.
Holy moly, that's like legitimate.
Yeah, that's a legitimate elevator switchboard, and you just try and find the floor that you want to go to, Kenny, because I'm confused.
I'm just not going in an elevator. Ain't happening. Oh my gosh.
Don't store them in the kitchen.
No.
Not together anyway.
Could you imagine? Is that legit?
That's legit, dude.
That's, man, I guess they don't have money for advertising.
Moving on. Oh, no. I wonder if that's Elon in the front of the class.
That's Elon in the front. Oh boy. That was him getting excited from his heart. That's kind of funny.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Too cool to do drugs. Cool to do drugs.
This is as you sharpen your pencil.
The pencil as you sharpen it. Not smart.
Not smart.
Oh gosh, that's trippy. Is that up or down?
How many people do you think fell down that set of stairs?
That's hurting my eyes already. I hate that. I hate that stupid carpet.
Oh my goodness.
What? Is that for real?
It's out there.
Is that do they have to like sneak it?
That was just an engineering design fail. That's what that was.
That, or they just wanted to watch. They wanted everybody on camera so they could get them doing that. That's hilarious. That's actually.
That's fantastic.
That's good. Would they ride their little bike through that crease? Okay.
See if you can find it. The shadows as it comes through.
That's good. Somebody did that on purpose. They watched the sun shining through. They keep making more of those. Couple of guys. Oh boy.
That was a graphic design fail if I've ever seen one.
Well, another one would be crap fruit. But if you take don't even look at the fruit, it's rape fruit. That's not good.
No, but it's good for every meal.
Oh my gosh. Good for every meal.
And lastly,
I gotta think about this one. This is taking me a second, Mike. You saw it? You see it already? Look through the door. Oh my gosh. What the heck? What is that?
well, it says pull, but the only way to get in that door
Is the push.
is to push.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that was this week's segment of Kenny Reacts. But I have to go back, to my favorite.
I wish you should reshare the picture that you of the couple of episodes ago.
Oh, I don't have that in the memory, but
my gosh, that's hilarious.
where those kids were being given birth to on the playground.
There was for those who have not watched this show before, and if you're tuning in now, definitely a couple episodes ago, we had Ken Reacts, and there was a floaty bouncy house thing, pirate ship that was not a pirate ship at all. At least it had a little flag up there. But anyway, you just have to go back and look at it. The kids were coming out of a birthing canal. That's what it looked like. Let's just put it that way. It was crazy. Definitely a design fail.
All right, is everybody ready at home? We are going to do this week's episode of Trivia for Kenny. And in this week's episode, it'll go as usual. Kenny will have the opportunity to answer a question where they've asked 100 people a certain question. He has to give the top answers on the board, just like Family Feud. However, if Kenny gets 3 X's or 3 strikes, the points go to those who are watching at home. And if they guess it with one guess, one of the answers on the board, the guests get the point, or the people at home get the points, and Kenny gets none. Kenny, are you ready?
Yep.
He says, yep. All right, Kenny. We're going to move this down here so you can see it. Can you see it, Kenny?
I sure can.
Okay, I'll even make it bigger. Will cover me up, okay? All right. Let's go to interact. All right, Kenny. We are going to round 1. Are you ready?
Yes.
Round 1 is, what comes in a pack? Top 4 answers are on the board. What comes in a pack?
Cards.
There's cards on the board. Yeah.
Beer, alcohol.
Does beer come in a pack?
Of course that's on there.
Do not answer at home if you're following along. We're giving Kenny 3 strikes to try and clear the board. If he does not clear the board, it goes to the first person that can put an answer in the comment section.
Well, I'd
Kenny.
like to say a pack of smokes. That would be something.
Pack of smokes. That is your number 1 answer, Kenny. You have one
read
strike.
it.
2 answers are correct. What comes in a pack?
Illegal immigrants.
Sorry, that gets you an X.
No, you gave that. No, you can't do that to me. That's a joke. Oh, come on now.
What comes in a pack?
So cards weren't on there. I'll say soda.
Soda? Soda does not come in a pack, but I'll give you the X. I won't give it to you for the immigrants one. I just thought that was
Okay.
funny. You have one more strike, Kenny. You have 2 answers left on the board. What comes in a pack?
I won't say that. Wolves.
Ladies and gentlemen, you got the last answer on the board. Pack of wolves.
All right.
You have 1 strike left and 1 answer. The points may be all yours within the next 30 seconds, Kenny, if you can give me the last answer. Counting down, what comes in a pack? What?
Rats.
That is not on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 30 seconds. We are on a time delay, so I'm going to turn it over to the people at home. The first answer that comes in the comment section will count as the at-home answers. What comes in a pack? Be the first person to answer that and see if people at home get the points or if Kenny will get the points by default. We do have 5 people viewing, so the odds are good that somebody will write an answer in there. What comes in a pack?
Don't let me down.
30. We're counting down.
Oh, that's a good one.
Christina says gum, ladies and gentlemen. She got the at-home answers.
And she beat me.
And she beat
Thanks
you.
a lot.
All right.
My winning streak is gone now, Christina.
All right, we're going to round 2, Kenny. Are you ready for round 2?
I am ready.
All right, round 2. We're going to give this to Kenny. Once again, if you're just tuning in right now, the answers, Kenny gets 3 strikes to try and complete the board. If he does not get them all, 1 answer right from the people at home has to be the first guess from the people at home. The points will go to you. But do not answer until Kenny has gotten all the strikes. Round 2. Here comes the fill in the blank.
Bride.
Here comes the bride. Very good.
Judge.
Very good. Keep it PG.
Here comes the here comes the bam. No. Let's see.
Be honest with you, I only would have gotten 1 of the remaining 2.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten the last one. All right, Kenny, we need your answer. Here comes the
rain.
That is your first strike. We have 2 more strikes to go, 2 more answers on the board. Please don't answer at home until Kenny has all 3 strikes. But the question is, here comes the fill in the blank.
Bus.
2 strikes, 2 answers on the board. We can go to the people at home. 74 points are up for grab right now. Kenny, here comes the... And I'm surprised you haven't guessed it.
Really?
Very. You have 30 seconds.
Here comes the
20 seconds.
popo. Here comes the
10 seconds.
ball and chain.
5 5 seconds.
Thunder. I don't know.
And, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to the people at home. There are points up for grabs. This can go to the people at home, or Kenny can take it with a steal here. We're going to count down from 30 seconds. They have all 3 strikes. We have a 20-second delay probably online. I just saw the 3 strikes come across the board. Let's see if anybody answers within the next 20 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Christina says, "Here comes the sun." She got it, man. She's killing you tonight. Here comes the sun.
Jesse said boom.
And those points go to home. But your last answer was, "Here comes the boom."
I said bam. I meant boom with what's his face. That's a great movie. I love that movie. Goodness. Come on.
All right.
Come on, man.
We're going to go to round 3. I like this one.
Oh, boy. You would.
Name something a woman might remove. I should leave it there. Might remove after getting a divorce. Kenny, you have the top 4 answers. You have no strikes. Please do not answer at home. Let's see if Kenny can clear the board. Name something a woman might remove right after a divorce.
Ring. Last name. Wow, all the weight she gained from. I know it's bad. That's bad. Kenny, stop.
Kenny.
Come on. What do you? My mind.
The implants.
Just gonna remove them. Okay. What else would she remove? Something with the bank account. Remove possessions, bank account. Come on, I'm trying to say a couple of words, so maybe one of them will work in that general sphere there. Wedding ring, her last name, his last name. It was a him.
Yeah, remove his last name. Whose name does she take when she gets married?
Okay, gotcha. I got confused for a second.
You have 2 answers left on the board and 2 strikes to go. I need your answers, Kenny. Name something a woman removes when she gets a divorce. You're laughing too hard at this.
I guess I told you I have a guest in the studio.
We're going to have to put you on the speed round, Kenny.
I know. Okay, wedding ring. His last name. Children.
Remove the children. Ouch.
She doesn't want to pay. All right.
I would have gotten one of these as well. I probably wouldn't have gotten the other.
Okay, so one of them. Okay, so one of them. Remove. So no, because so it had to be okay. So she's gonna actually remove it. So it'd be wedding ring, his last name. Well, she would remove her belongings from the house. Mike is giving me a chance. No,
I can't help you. All right, going to the audience at home. Name something a woman might remove after divorce. We are on a time delay, so I'm going to give it about 20 seconds. I just saw the 3 strikes come up on the live stream, so let's see. We'll give it 20 seconds here. Let's see if somebody puts an answer in on the chat. First answer, if it's right, they get the points. If it's wrong, Kenny, you get the points. Are we ready? Name something a woman might remove after a divorce. I'm giving them 10 seconds. Three seconds.
I'm surprised.
2 seconds. Wow, we got nothing on this one.
Okay.
Kenny, you get the points.
I win?
You're going to get the points for that round. That is going to go to Kenny. You get 98 points to 167.
Okay.
Kenny, let's look at the answers on the board.
Okay.
Number 4 would be the tattoo of the
Oh,
X.
Okay, that's a good one.
All right. And the last answer would be, this is the one I thought of. Any photos you may have.
Oh, those I was thinking too deep.
You always do think deep, Kenny.
Yeah, I know.
All right, this is going to be the last round. Are we ready, Kenny?
I definitely am.
Last round.
Oh, Christina actually put something in their insurance policy. That's a good one. Their bank accounts. I said that, and I was wrong.
Okay, so now for the last round, do not answer at home until Kenny has gotten all 3 strikes. We have 4 answers going up on the board. Kenny, hold on a second. If you overheard the word moose in a conversation, what might they be talking about?
Moose?
If you overheard the word moose in a conversation, what might they be talking about? Top 4 answers on the board. Kenny.
Hair. Products. Okay. Chocolate mousse. Food. I always just what happens. I get 2 and then I'm going to be stumped. All right, here we go.
The answer.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Did I say the answer?
No, I'm reading the answer. That's great.
Oh, gosh. Bullwinkle. Come on. That was smart. Oh, gosh. Moose. Moose, hair mousse, chocolate mousse.
If you overheard the word moose in a conversation, what might they be talking about?
A Diddy party. What? No, I don't. That's not it.
Okay. You got to answer these kind of quick. We got people waiting for you at home.
Okay. Hair mousse, chocolate mousse. Oh, that's still chocolate. The animal. I don't know. They're actually talking about a moose. They're hunting. Okay. Yes. Okay. Sweet. All right. I got one more.
You have one more. Can you clear the board? You have only 1 strike, and the last answer is on the board. Kenny, I'm going to make you go through this quickly to give our people at home an opportunity here. So we're going to give you 10 seconds here. Now 15 seconds for each answer. You have 2 strikes. Ready? Counting down.
All right. Antlers. Animal, hair mousse, chocolate mousse. He was laughing, so it's got to be something different.
You got 15 seconds, Kenny.
Is this funny?
To me, it is.
Oh, gosh.
10 seconds.
A hairy person? I don't know. Hairy canary.
All right, we're going to go to the people at home. We're on a 20-second delay. You can take the 91 points, Kenny, and win this if they don't give it to you. But they need to come up with an answer. Ready? I just saw the 3 strikes come across the board.
Oh, and they stated that their comments are very delayed after we send them, so we have to wait a little bit more.
Okay.
Oh, so they're already putting them in there.
A large person.
That's what my dad said that. Oh my gosh!
She nailed it word for word. The points go to our viewers at home. Kenny, you lost this week's trivia, but let's give them a round of applause.
And that's me laughing at your large person, Christina, because we actually said that, but we said it kind of more in a demeaning way, and so that's why I didn't say it. A big person. Caleb put that too.
Good job, Christina.
I should have listened to my father.
And that was this week's episode of Kenny Reacts and Trivia.
Mike, this is always a hit. It really is. The brilliance of Mike. Goodness gracious. That was good. That was fun.
That was a good one.
Thank you, by the way, for those who participated. Thank you very much. It makes it a lot of fun. We appreciate it.
So that was this week's fun and craziness. Do you have anything you want to bring the show home with tonight, Kenny?
No, just that I'm so looking forward to in a couple of weeks we've got the Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to more executive orders for more of what's going to happen with our country. And honestly, all jokes aside, I am, and if I hope that people can really just relax, don't get too emotional, and really see what's actually happening. That's actually going to be better for the people that are in the country.
Yeah,
that's really going to be the thing.
And he's not a dictator, even though, listen, Kenny will told you himself at the beginning of the show, he's more of a fan of Trump than I am. However, I think we need to take a breath, step back, and look that he's not sitting there being a dictator. He's not going to start World War III. They tried that, saying that his first go around, that didn't happen. And I think this time around, we're just seeing a lot of repercussions of what the previous administration did, that he is just trying to reset the clock. So right now it's a lot of shock and awe because it's a lot all at once. But when you have somebody that did nothing to somebody that's doing a bunch in a week that paramounts to more than he did in 4 years, I think we just need to sit back, breathe, and focus and see how the dust settles.
Yeah, when pressure comes, it really tells us how mature we are and what's happening on the inside of us. If we're emotionally stable and mature people, we can handle it. And I think that again, it's a good thing to handle. By what's so funny? Okay, what?
No, Kayla said good night.
Oh, good night, Kayla. And for all you two who tuned in tonight, that's really what we got. We appreciate you tuning in every single week. We are looking forward to what's to come. We're going to have a lot of Super Bowl talk coming up, but we're also going to be having some guests on. We are talking about who we're going to be having on.
Hey, there's a move right now on social media to boycott the Super Bowl this year because people are just so sick and tired of all the stuff that went on.
I feel bad for the Eagles fans, but
Yeah.
not the KC fans. So if that happens, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to have my get together and have lots of food and wings and craziness, but I'm not against the NFL losing some viewership.
Me neither. Me either.
But Kenny, it was great.
As always.
Everybody remember to go to YouTube, subscribe, share with your friends. Go on, you said Rumble. We are on Instagram, I believe. We're on Facebook. We're on every major podcast platform. So go share us with your friends. Become followers, because we are the cult that you want to be a part of.
That's a good say. We're gonna start using that from now on. I like it. The cult. What is it?
We're the cult that you want to follow.
I love it. So thank you guys again, and we really appreciate you being tuned in right here to the Ken and Mike Show.
God bless.